Lesson 29, for each loops. Well, the for each loop is a brand new loop that's new to object-oriented programming. So if you've had BASIC before, you've never run into this. This is something that you'll first encounter in VBA. It allows you to loop through each item in a collection. For example, each worksheet in a workbook, or through each cell in a selection. The loop control variable here is not going to be a single value that holds a number. It's going to be an object variable, and all of the properties, methods, and values associated with that object are available to you in that variable. This will be easiest to understand if I show you some examples, so let's get started. All right. Common problem here. I have some data over there in column C, and the data is all in capital letters. And I'd like to convert that to lowercase. So of course, we could come over here and say equal proper of that value and double click the fill handle to copy down, and then right click the border and drag right and say copy here is values only and delete the original data. And sure, that doesn't take a lot of time, but it's a little bit tedious. I'm going to undo all that. It'd be nice if we could just select that data, hit a keystroke, and have all of those convert back to proper case. So easy to do with one of these for each loops. We're going to say that the person running the macro has selected a range, and we're going to loop through each cell in the selection, repeating some action. So let's take a look in Visual Basic here. We want to proper each cell. So I say for each I in selection. All right, well, I is not very descriptive at all, and so I'm going to change that. I want to give it a real name here for each cell in selection, because that's what we're going to get. We're going to get cells, and I can say cell.value is equal to application.worksheetfunction.proper cell.value, and then at the end we can say next cell. Next cell, just like the for loops. Now here we're not specifying that we start in a certain row or a certain column. It's very flexible. It just grows or shrinks depending on the size of the selection. So here on Monday, I select all the cells, I run this macro, and bam, everything is converted over to proper. And I love this because I can choose a different size of data and run the macro, and basically whatever I have in the selection, it converts it. Very nice, very powerful way to solve this problem using the for each variable. And there's many different collections that you can loop through. For example, let's say that we wanted to grab the total value from each worksheet. The loop here is we could say for each, and I use a variable here called WS, meaning worksheet, in active workbook worksheets. So in other words, the collection of worksheets that we have in the active workbook. Well, a couple of things here. We want to total those numbers up. So grand total is equal to 0. All right, now we can say this total is equal to ws.cells rows.count, comma 2.end xl up dot value. So in other words, go down to the last cell in column B, press the N key, press the up arrow key, and tell me what value you find in that cell. And I can even say this sheet is equal to ws.name. I have all of the properties associated with that worksheet. And so I can start to build a couple of things. One thing is the grand total. So grand total is equal to the old grand total plus this total. And I can even build a nice little message here. So the message is equal to the old message, ampersand, this sheet, ampersand, total is, and then a $, ampersand this total. And then I want to put a carriage return in each message. So we have something called VBCR. That's a carriage return. And we'll let that run. At the very end, we're going to do a couple of things. We're going to change the message to say message equals message ampersand grand total is ampersand grand total, and then we'll display that message in a message box. Message box, message. All right, so what is this going to do? No matter how many worksheets we have, Monday through Friday, it's going to go grab the value from the last cell in column B. It's going to build a little message that reports this sheet name and their total sales, and then finally put a grand total. So let's try this. We'll run this macro. Very quickly loops through, builds a nice little report here showing me the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday total and the grand total. If there were 50 worksheets here, this message would automatically expand to show me all of the worksheets. So great if you don't know how many worksheets you're going to have, but you have a lot of similar worksheets, you can loop through all of those. Let me show you one more, and this is a common problem that I run into all the time. I'm going to switch out to Internet Explorer here. I found some great web page that lists a whole bunch of items, and I want to be able to have these in Excel. So I Control-C to copy from Internet Explorer, and then I come back to Excel and I Control-V to paste. And what's happened is there's a hyperlink in each one of these cells. And if I hover, I can see what the name of the worksheet is, but I really want something better than that. So what do I have on this worksheet? I have a collection of hyperlinks. I bet I can loop through all of the hyperlinks. So let's try that. We'll say for each, and I'm going to use HL to stand for hyperlink, in active sheet dot hyperlinks. Beautiful. And we'll say next HL. Now I'm going to put a little dim up here. I don't work with hyperlinks enough, so I don't know enough about the properties. So I'll just say dim HL as hyperlink. And now the IntelliSense is going to work. So I'll say this URL is equal to HL dot perfect address. And now that I know that information, I'd like to write it to column B. Unfortunately, the hyperlink is not necessarily going to happen in order. So I can say HL.parent, parent is the cell where it lives, dot offset, no rows, one column, dot value is equal to this URL. All right, not positive this is going to work, but let's just try it. We'll click run, and beautifully I now have the link text in column A and the actual HTML file in column B. Solves a very common problem. We now can run web queries on these, start to pull all of this data into Excel, or even just have a nice directory of this is the link name and this is the link where it goes, by looping through all of the hyperlinks in the active sheet. The for each loop, very, very powerful for looping through all items in a collection. You can think of all kinds of things. You can loop through all of the open workbooks. You can loop through all of the objects in a worksheet. You can loop through all of the drawings in a worksheet. You can loop through all of the charts in a worksheet, or all of the data labels in a chart. Just a great way to loop through a whole bunch of different items very quickly. So this is a loop that's relatively new. You'll find it in object-oriented languages, and certainly something that is very powerful to use when you don't know how many of something you're going to have, but you want to run the code on all of them. Well, that wraps up our discussion of loops. In the next part, we start to talk about dealing with multiple worksheets and multiple workbooks. So thanks for watching this lesson. I hope you found this lesson helpful.
Looking to advance your career by acquiring new skills? Tired of expensive off-site training programs? Wish you could learn from the best instructors in the industry? Look no further than live lessons. Self-paced, personal video instruction by the world's leading technology publishers. Each live lesson comes with a DVD featuring 3 to 4 hours of instructor-led classroom training, sample program code that allows you to work along with your personal instructor, and an example-rich study guide. Live lessons allow you to watch the entire course from start to finish, or navigate directly to any of the individual lessons. You'll literally watch over the shoulder of your instructor as he shows you how to build state-of-the-art applications. Live lessons, the power of the world's leading technology experts at your fingertips. To learn more, visit mylivelessons.com today.